I'm Mike Frascona, president of Multisport International. Here at MSI, we train athletes ranging from 12-year-old female soccer players to 7-foot-tall centers in the NBA. And while the particular age, sport, and skill level of each of our clients varies widely, there are a few constants. Each of these athletes needs to possess balance, rhythm, and lightning-quick feet. The best tool we've found for training all these skills is the Quick-Foot ladder. The ladder is incredibly versatile and can be used to train all athletes ranging from the beginner to the elite level pro. And for the next half hour, we're going to show you what we consider to be the 50 best drills that can be performed on this piece of equipment. When using the Quick-Foot ladder in this video, I recommend that you follow 3 basic rules. First, master each skill level before moving on to the next. All athletes will progress at different rates, but make sure you're always capable of performing the basic drills. We often use level 1 and 2 drills with our best athletes just to give them a rest in the middle of a difficult workout. Second, as you do each repetition, view the ladder in thirds and switch gears with each third. This means going slow enough in the first third to create a perfect rhythm and motion. In the second third, you should accelerate the perfect motion from the first. The final third is where you aim to reach top speed. If you're going to mess up and hit the ladder, you want it to be in the last third. Finally, as you move through the ladder, listen to your feet. Because each drill has its own unique pattern, it also has its own unique sound or beat. Concentrate on this sound and making it gradually increase in tempo. On drill number 1, the athlete alternately places one foot in each hole and concentrates on maintaining an upright posture. It is essential that the athlete learns to keep the backward snap of the elbow in sync with the feet. As the right elbow drives back, the right knee drives forward, and vice versa. Drill number 2 is performed exactly the same way as the 1-foot runs, but both feet must now land in each square. Motions here are also shorter and faster than those used in 1-foot runs. Be sure to perform equal repetitions leading with your right and left foot. When performing brake runs, start off using the same motions as 1-foot runs, then at the halfway point switch to the motions of 2-foot runs. Switching motions will give you the sensation of slamming on your brakes. The athlete must control his body and accelerate his feet and elbows rather than losing control and falling forward. On this drill, the athlete starts with both feet inside the first hole and then hops forward and lands with a foot on either side of the second hole. This pattern is repeated through the entire length of the ladder. The athlete should concentrate on maintaining a low center of gravity, especially as the speed of the hops increase. Performed exactly the same way as drill number 4, the athlete simply turns around and hops through the ladder backwards. Balance and rhythm are key. On lateral runs, both feet land in each square before moving on to the next square. As with all lateral drills, make sure you give equal attention to moving both to your right and left. On rabbit hops, the athlete hops into each hole with both feet. The emphasis here should be on quickness off the ground rather than height. Jump cuts are great for any athlete that competes in a sport that requires him or her to cut on a dime. The feet are kept together and alternately hop in and out of the ladder. Remember to keep the knees bent to absorb shock. Ladder skips are a great drill for teaching sprint mechanics. The athlete should concentrate on keeping a straight line from his heels to the top of his head. Also, the lift of the knee, the dorsiflexion of the foot, and the backward snap of the elbow should be emphasized. When performing scissor skips, the athlete keeps his knees locked and uses only the flip of the ankle to propel the body forward. Again, the upper body must be kept in sync with the lower body. The Ickey Shuffle is one of the best drills that can be performed on the quick-foot ladder, in part because it lays the groundwork for a number of other drills. Once the athlete masters the basic pattern of this drill, lightning speed can be achieved by concentrating on speeding up the sound of the feet. On drill number 12, the athlete moves laterally in a motion similar to that of a cross-country skier. The lead foot begins in the first square, while the trail foot is directly behind and outside the first square. The feet quickly switch places, and then the athlete moves to the next hole and repeats. This drill is performed the same way as drill number 12, except that every time the feet switch places, the athlete also progresses to the next hole. It is important that the athlete keep his feet inside the framework of the hips when hopping laterally into each hole. Straddle hops places the athlete in a low, wide-based defensive position. The athlete should pretend he has a board between his ankles that keeps the feet locked in approximately 2 feet of separation. Contacts with the ground should be light, quick, and only involve the ball of the foot. These are performed exactly the same way as regular straddle hops, except the athlete moves backwards. The backwards motion even more specifically mimics the defensive motions used by players in game situations. Similar to the Ickey Shuffle shown in drill number 11, the double-step Ickey Shuffle requires that the athlete take one extra step. Instead of both feet touching in the middle and only one on the outside, here both feet touch outside the ladder before coming back in. Moving laterally, the athlete steps into the first square with his lead foot and then in with his back foot. The athlete then exits the square in the same manner and moves on to the next square. This drill is performed the same way as the single square buzzsaw, except that only one foot steps up into each hole. The athlete should look at holes in groups of 2. Each hole will only be hit with 1 foot contact before the athlete moves on to the next group of 2. This is another variation of the Ickey Shuffle shown in drill number 11. The athlete simply performs the original Ickey Shuffle, but exaggerates the motions by stepping wider outside the ladder and lifting the feet higher. This is a great drill for improving lateral change of direction speed. Straddle skips are similar to regular skips shown in drill number 9. Here the athlete keeps his feet outside the ladder, leans slightly forward, and drives the elbows and knees. This drill is best performed resisted as shown later in the video. To step up the difficulty of the original Ickey Shuffle, the athlete can simply turn it around and do it backwards. Once an athlete has mastered the Ickey Shuffle moving frontwards and backwards, the next step is to learn to do a 180 in the middle. This is done by using one of the squares as a pivot square. In this square, the body rotates 180 degrees on the foot that steps in, and then the athlete continues the rep in a backwards motion. On this drill, the athlete starts with both feet in the ladder and one square separating the feet. The trail foot is then picked up and placed in the separation hole, followed by the lead foot advancing one hole. The feet are never in the same hole. They're always either separated by a single hole or are in adjacent holes. Drill number 24 is swivel skips. These are performed by crossing laterally into the first square over your lead foot. The lead foot is then quickly brought back to a normal position next to the trail foot in the first square. This drill requires a smooth, rapid rotation of the hips. Chimney jumps focus on leaping while maintaining body control. Here the athlete leaps from maximum height, skips one hole, and lands in the third. The athlete should imagine the target hole to be a chimney, which he must jump high enough to clear and then be under control enough to drop straight down without scraping the walls. Dead leg skips emphasize correct sprint angles and the proper placement of the knee during top speed sprinting. The athlete begins with his feet staggered and only one foot in the first square of the ladder. The outside leg, or dead leg, remains locked during the entire repetition and is used only as a crutch. The lead leg is lifted to a position where the knee is roughly waist level and then quickly returned to the ground. The foot of the lead leg should remain in a dorsiflex position. An athlete performing the crazy climber should keep his feet locked in approximately an 18-inch separation. When hopping, both feet should hit the ground at the same time and the hips should be on a constant swivel. Each foot stays inside the ladder for 2 hops before it exits the ladder and is replaced by the other foot. Yet another variation on the Ickey Shuffle. Here the athlete moves laterally with only the lead foot touching in front of the ladder, only the trail foot touching behind the ladder, and both feet touching inside the ladder. As with all the drills, the athlete should pay close attention to the sound and rhythm of his feet. Lateral chimney jumps are performed the same way as chimney jumps, except they're done sideways. The goal is still body control. This drill is much harder than it looks.